What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're doing a takeover, one of my monthly takeovers that I do via my Discord. If you guys want to get involved, definitely hit up my Discord in the description below. There is a takeover channel, and basically I select one participant or entry, and I basically jump into their account and offer some advice on levels or areas that they're struggling with. So yeah, if you want to get involved, definitely hop over to the Discord. I try to do it once a month. This month, for the first month that I'm doing this, we have two candidates. So Dradoc, so I'm just going to call him Doc here. Doc here is one of the two candidates, so we're going to run through his account and see how we can help him out here with some advice. We might hop into some builds and so forth. So let's jump right into it. All right, so Doc here, he describes himself as a mid to late game player. He spent $5 in the game, playing the game for 2 years. That's good to hear. He says he doesn't want to spend any more money in the game, and he's recently started to get into the game. So this is a good way to kind of jumpstart his account. He wants to just basically get his account back up to speed. So I'm just here to help him out a little bit. He did list some areas that need to have some work. I can definitely help you out with some Hydra here. I can give you some advice on some live arena champions. We'll do a quick preliminary kind of gear cleanse, give you an idea what to do. We can give you an idea on what kind of Shogun teams you can achieve with your account. Tag team will probably fall under the same category as live arena, so we'll work on some of your arena champions, and then we'll have a quick look at your dungeons and see how they are working. He says hard 6 at the moment. So first, let's have a quick look around his account. So level 90 coming in here, he's got 45 million silver. That's kind of okay. Resources, he can probably still do any fusion if he so chooses. He's at 11 sacreds. He did mention he's a mobile player, so that's a little bit tough if you're going to do any kind of fusion. So definitely hats off to people that are mobile and doing fusions. But he has enough shards to do so if he so wishes. Mauled 28, that means he's not been failing fusions, or he's not been participating in fusions at all. He's got Shayak. Actually, he might have enough. He might be on pace for Shayak actually. RX 60 out of 100, still going on. Grey Hall 113. I think for 2 years it's a little bit not progressed, but this could be a less regular player playing the game, which totally makes sense. At 113, he's maxed out accuracy first, which is good to see. Crit damage afterwards, which is good to see as well. That's basically exactly the same route that I would have went as well. Defense percentage here is a little bit interesting. I probably wouldn't have went that, but maybe he went that because of clan boss or something. But I probably wouldn't have gone defense. I would have went with crit damage after accuracy. After that, what do we got here in the forge? We got 8,000 materials here, so definitely lots of crafting he can do. What's he got? Holy smokes, look at this, 720 pieces here, 1,000 pieces here. Please do yourself a favor and craft some perception gear. You should have no reason to be low on gear. With this, no reason to be low on silver, no reason to be low on gear. Yes, this is very time consuming to chew through, but you're just being capped right here is really tough to see right now. I mean, I'm just going to craft some here just to open up some space for you so that you can actually accumulate more resources, because having this capped is just losing out on silver, losing out on perception pieces. Perception is just such a good set too, and like you're going to be able to pick up some pieces that will help your account, right? Like, okay, so we're just going to do a couple here just to free up some of the space so that you have room to collect more. And I noticed that you do have some space in your inventory, I believe. What else has he got here? Anything here? Anything of interest? Looking at lethal, 51 lethal gear. There you go. You can definitely craft some lethal, make some better nuking champions. But let's have a look at what's he going on here. He's got a full sparring pit. I like it. 1 out of 3. I like it. I like the direction of that. I usually don't go 3 out of 3 until you're super late game. So 1 out of 3 here is very good. What's he got in terms of soul stones? Not much going on, but definitely don't expect much from a mid to late game account. So level 90. And let's check out his dungeon progression first. He's saying level 6 on everything. 6 hard, I assume. So 8, yeah, 6 looks good at 20 seconds. So he's looking at 6. 6 is void, right? 6 is void for everything. So about, yeah, 6 looks good. 6 looks good. Afterwards, it gets kind of hairy. Fire Knight is probably the hardest one for him, probably 5 minutes. Yeah, definitely way too long on Fire Knight. And Sand Devil here, we got 2 minutes on 25. Shogun, we got a minute 49 on Shogun. So now that we've seen his overall progression, let's take a look at his champions here, what he's working with. Good to see a bunch of 60s here. That's really nice to see. Let's see, what's he packing? He's packing a Reflex Wixwell. That's probably for Clan Boss. So congratulations on your 1 key Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. Afterwards, we are packing a Newt, which looks to be built pretty good. Max crit rate, you want to see it. You want to see the accuracy over 300 just to land some of the debuffs against Fire Knight Hard, for example. You got decent crit damage, decent survivability. Yeah, overall very decent. Ascended Amulet, not Ascended Boots yet, but very decent. Let's see the masteries here real quick, just in case something goes amiss. Nope, Giant Slayer looks good. Giant Slayer here, fully booked. Brimstone is kind of interesting, maybe to help with Hydra. But I'd probably pick Phantom Touch here if you need extra help against the Fire Knight shield, for example. So Brimstone doesn't really help in that case, but Brimstone probably helps against Hydra, for example. Afterwards, what do we got? We got a 6-piece Ultimate Death Knight here. Looks pretty good. No speed here, so good to see. A little bit low on the HP, really high on the defense. Wow, 7k defense. So definitely rejig this Ultimate Death Knight to be high HP, lower defense. Maybe about 4.5k defense is enough, and the rest just goes into HP. The rest of these looks fine, so good for you for doing that. Polymorph looks good. Polymorph looks good, yep. I would probably pick Polymorph with over 200 accuracy. And he's got Unshakable for some extra resistance. The resistance is honestly not enough to do anything 430, but it might be helpful in some PvE content if you plan to use them there. But I would probably forgo all the resistance completely. You have a resistance banner, so maybe you want to go with the HP banner here. You don't want to attack. These ones are not that good, but definitely don't want to go. Yeah, these are kind of it. You don't really want the speed here, and then this one, both of them are kind of the same. They both have attack, but yeah, you kind of want HP on the banner instead of resistance here. But we'll let you handle that. After that, we got Helior here. He's in a protection, 4-piece protection. I don't know if he's going to be your top. He's definitely not one of your top used champions. He's not fully booked or anything, so I'm not going to worry too much about Helior. Let's check out his Armans here. Armans, 4-piece stone skin. I like it. That's a good, solid build. 272 speed, crit rate, accuracy is a little bit low. He doesn't have the 5-star blessing, which makes sense. Does he have accuracy banner? Yes, he does. Pretty good banner here, actually. Accuracy, ascendant accuracy, double speed on it. Better than mine, to be honest. He has nicer substats than mine. But yeah, better, pretty good. Armans here, single turn stone skin. That's what you want to see. Fully booked, looks good. Polymorph looks good. Looks good. I like it. Looks good. That's kind of how I would build it as well. Yeah, Eagle Eye's fine. I would probably build Armans with Retribution because Retribution is pretty good. Like his A1's really good, right? His A1 with the lockout, chance to lockout on counter on his A1 is pretty good. So I think it's worth the Retribution. So definitely worth using him, filling out his masteries there. Otherwise, pretty good. Armans, a little bit slow, but that's going to come with better gear, so definitely ramp up his speed a bit, but definitely keep the 1-turn stone skin on him if possible. All right, so I ran his Armans through the optimizer here. This is his account on the optimizer, and we picked up a build with about 30 speed or 25 speed more than his current build with a little bit more accuracy. Let's have a quick look at it. It does take some pieces from some of his key champions, it looks like, from his Nut, his Arbiter, his Emic, and his Trunda here. So it does take a little bit of pieces from those champions. I think I wouldn't touch this crit damage glove from Trunda, so I definitely would look for something else. So I'd probably look for one of the lower crit damage builds. So maybe this one, 292 speed. There you go. But you do use the Arbiter Helm. That's probably not something you want to do. And then a attack percentage chest, which kind of lowers your effective health a little bit. But for Armans, you basically just use him to be super fast. So you definitely have a very viable way to build him very quickly. So you can add an extra 20 speed on him if you just replace those, or 20 speed on him just to replace these two middle pieces here. So definitely some work to be done on him. It can improve on his build currently. Sato here, it doesn't look like one of his main champions. Blizzard doesn't look like it. Mithrala, okay, Mithrala, what's she packing here? Mithrala is packing. It's a little bit slow, but she's got decent resistance, decent accuracy to do stuff. She's in Stone Skin, so she is handling some arena action. Temporal Chains, I think, is okay for Mithrala. It's not insane or anything. You definitely don't want to take like something like Polymorph because she has such high resistance. She's not going to get debuffed very often. War Master here, so it looks like maybe she's used in some Hydra content, perhaps. If that's the case, if she's used in Hydra content, maybe you give her Brimstone to give her some extra damage. That might help. All right, what's next in terms of what his main champions are? Probably not. Sissy is really good. I mean, for Hydra, she's really, really strong. We can touch on some of your Hydra teams afterwards, but she's a really, really good champion for that. Wukong here, probably one of your main damage dealers, I would think. Savage Gear here is a little bit slow, 200 speed, a little bit low on attack and crit damage, so not the best stats on this champion. Crit damage here, that's fine. What's he got here? Accuracy, no attack. What's he got here? Accuracy, a little bit of a weak chest. Speed here, Ascendant Wrong. This one's actually a pretty good glove, especially for Fatal. I mean, Fatal plus attack with the crit rate. Pretty good subs on it. His weapon as well is not too bad in terms of subs. This one definitely missing a bunch of damage here. And then this one, not too bad, no speed. But overall, it's not a bad build. He has the right stats. He just needs more of it, to be honest. But Wukong is definitely one of those champions that you want to invest heavily in. He's a great champion. Helm Smasher, that's perfect on him. Yeah, the masteries look good. I have no complaints about any of these builds, really. They look really good. Soul Reap. It's fine. Let's see what Wukong's the first real arena nuking champion that I've seen. So let's see what kind of build we can put on Wukong here from his account. All right, so running Wukong through the optimizer using every single piece of rolled up gear on his account. By rolled up, I'm using level 8 or higher pieces. So if he doesn't have 8 or higher pieces rolled up on his account, then this optimizer won't pick it up in its searches. But it looks like the highest damage build is here. It is using the same Savage pieces from Wukong currently, and it just uses 2 other pieces from other champions. So one from his Leoris, one from his Daithi. We increase his speed a little bit, increase his crit damage a little bit, and his attack goes way up. So if you are using Wukong as your main damage dealer, which I probably recommend you do because he's such an incredible champion in Arena, you should probably gear him out in this kind of build, in the build that makes sense. So you can add a bit more crit damage here once you hit the Ascension on the crit damage amulet. You can definitely improve his builds with some better Ascensions on his bottom pieces, so glove, chest, and boots. And yeah, he'll do a lot of work for you. I think this build works fine for your account. Like I said, it's the best damage gear on your account for what is rolled up. So if you have gear that's not rolled up, so let's have a quick look here. If you have gear that's not rolled up, the optimizer won't pick it up. So you do have some pieces here that are not rolled up, but they're kind of not that great. I mean, they're not really worth it. I mean, yeah, none of these pieces are going to make a difference with these searches. So I would recommend using that Wukong build that I just showed you with the Leoris helm and the Daithi chest. That would make your Wukong your best nuker on your account. What do we got here? We got Duchess. So nice to see a Duchess here. Good speed, good HP. She's in a 7-piece protection set, which is kind of interesting. Once you get to 9 pieces, that's going to be really spicy. She's going to increase the damage of your Hydra team significantly if you use her there. So far the build looks fine. Reviver masteries, timely intervention, so it looks good. I like it. Intimidating presence, that's fine. You could also use emergency heal for some extra healing from her A1 shields when they get broke. So definitely fine. I think this build looks fine. Another suggestion would maybe be 6-piece stone skin. If you can make a 6-piece fast Duchess, that would be definitely helpful in Arena. I'm going to run the optimizers and see what we can do for that. All right, so we got some builds here for the Duchess. So a little bit more HP stacked up with a little bit similar speed, but then we got 6-piece stone skin happening here. So just going over some of the pieces here, it looks like it takes a little bit from the Mithrala, maybe the speed boot from Arman. So as soon as you start hitting the ascensions on the speed boots, for example, it's going to give you some more options. So on other speed boots, looks like you have a level 8 HP chest here, which is going to work out nicely. Yeah, a bunch of level 8 gear, Arman's gear. But once you start leveling up some of these gears, start getting double rolls on speed and stuff, you can definitely upgrade these builds. But it looks like it's just going to take all the stone skin stuff off of Arman's, which is your obviously very built up champion. But definitely try to roll up some of your gear. You can definitely get some nice builds here. 100k HP, 250 speed, Duchess, 6-piece stone skin looks pretty solid to me if you can swing that after rolling up some more gear. All right, after that we got this Emic here. You got the 271 Emic, so it's probably going to be your Iron Twins Emic, probably in a bunch of other content as well. You probably don't need some of this stone skin pieces or yeah, so if you can swing like other pieces here just to free up some of these stone skin pieces, then it might be worthwhile. Although this glove is kind of interesting. Probably just here for the speed, right? Yeah, probably speed. But yeah, definitely you can use some worse pieces on him to sub out some of these better pieces. Leorius, one of his better nukers as well that he had geared out. This one, not crit cap, so he probably knows it and he's probably feeling a little sheepish about it, but definitely crit cap this guy. As I mentioned, you're probably going to send this over to Wukong so that he can get more damage and be your main guy. But otherwise, I mean, the build looks fine. Just missing the crit cap here. His mastery's done. They are done. Helm Smasher looks good. Everything else looks good. You got Reaper on. Sure, it looks great. 1 star here, so missing a 2-star for some extra attack as well. The problem with Leorius is that Wukong takes care of him really easily, so it is hard to pick him as a generalist in Arena. But for general wave-based content, he's really good at helping you just go through stuff, and obviously for Classic Arena, he's really good as well. But I think Wukong as a nuker is just generally better and more useful, so I would definitely invest all my best gear onto Wukong for my nukers. Instead of Leorius. Afterwards here we got a Lydia. She looks pretty good actually. She's just basic perception gear, decent speed, got enough accuracy to do content. So it looks good to me. Fully booked. Cruelty, it looks fine, especially for Hydra. After you finish off the T6 mastery, go down to War Master and you're looking good. Alright, so alright. Up next we got Arbiter. Let's see how fast his fastest Arbiter can be. Right now his Arbiter is 331. Let's see if we can do a little bit better on the optimizer. Alright, so just based on the optimizer, the fastest he has currently is 347. So of course this is already including gear that's been rolled up with glyphs and all that. So if we wanted to exclude glyphs, we can exclude glyphs and just use raw gear. So with just raw gear, it's going to be these pieces here. And then he can glyph them up afterwards. So with glyphs, you're looking at plus 6 times 8. So 6 times 8, 48. So his actual maximum speed would be plus 8 here. So 354 if he had plus 8 speed on everybody. So 354, I think his Arbiter build is probably fine. He probably has pieces on his other champions. I saw Nut in there. So he's going to be using some of his faster pieces. But this Arbiter looks pretty fine, 331. And then just coming down his roster a little bit, so it looks like these are kind of like his B gear champions. So he's got Rathalos here with a single cruel set. He's got Rhonda with the cruel set here. Trunda with 2 cruel sets. Generally he has the right idea. He's trying to aim for 100% crit rate, which is good. Of course, you want that on nukers. And then he's trying to go for attack and crit damage. So generally the builds look very fine. Let's see what else here. Yostrit in Reflex looks fine. Could be a little bit faster, but probably somebody for Hydra, so it's good to see that it's geared out. And Cora here could be used for Arena. You definitely want her to be in Stone Skin if possible. I see that she's fast, which is good to see, but she probably needs to be in Stone Skin to be super effective, especially since she's a cleanser. And you want her to be basically uncontrolled so that she can do the cleansing. Artak in a toxic set, probably doing some shenanigans with soloing stuff. Definitely want to get him in some regen gear eventually so he can actually solo some dungeons. Out of curiosity, let's jump into the optimizer and see if we can build a proper regeneration Artak for him. Alright, so this Artak here, he's in regen gear. He doesn't have enough gear to go resistance plus accuracy, so it's a little bit of a bummer. But with 80k HP, 250 speed, and 300 accuracy, you should be able to solo a lot of content, at least some of the earlier hard stages as well, so that can kind of help you out with food and all that stuff. But it looks like it's taking some gear off of his Godseeker Iniri, which looks like it's in a Iron Twins build, so that's probably not going to work out too well here. You can see a lot of the good regen gear is on Godseeker Iniri here. Yeah, definitely look towards farming some more regen gear and then get the Artak going. You want to start with at least the accuracy, and then once you get enough stats, you can definitely work in the resistance for a true solo build. I'm just checking out his Helicath here. He's in Savage. I love to see it. Savage Helicath with a little bit of damage. A little bit slow, since you do want to get his block damage out in arena right away, especially for live arena. What do we got here? We got RX here. She's in a slow build, does a little bit of damage with the Cruel for ignore defense. Necmo with Hex, like to see it. A little bit slow. You definitely want him to be the fastest of the bunch to get the turn meter boost and the speed up going. Mashald here in lethal gear. That's the first champion in lethal. Low crit damage, low attack. What's he rocking here? Crit rate gloves, attack percentage chest. But obviously, he's got the right idea, right? He's got the right idea. No glyphs on these, no ascension. So it's just something to be a work in progress, especially for a level 90 account. I think the account looks pretty good. I don't really have too much to nitpick here. So let's see what we are working with in terms of Hydra, and let's see if we can build him some better teams moving forward. So these are the 3 teams that he's packing here. Let's have a quick look at what his teams look like. I think these champion pool looks pretty good. Duchess here for Torment. We got the speed up. We got Nut for damage. Sissia for damage. Provoke. Speed down. Speed up. You don't really need Visix here. You kind of just use her for Provoke, which is kind of wasted a little bit. Ugo here for the AoE decrease and block buffs. Looking good. Team 2 is using a second Ugo. Love to see that. Team 2, we have Mithrala for Hex. We have speed up, speed down, weaken with the Ostrid, AoE HP burn from Artak for damage, Torment, Shamail, and then we have a cleanser, cooldown reduction, and shield with Ancora. Ancora is interesting spot here. She feels a little bit redundant compared to Mithrala. She's going to be less, she's a reviver. I mean, I guess that's probably why. But definitely can work that a little bit. And then his last team, we have Wixwell. Wixwell for Provoke. We have Lydia here, decrease defense and weaken, speed up. Speed down with Nia. Wukong for AoE block buffs. Decrease defense. MX here as well. And then we have Shamail for torment coverage. You know what? Like, honestly, I think he's got the right idea with some of these teams. But let's see what we can do when we start building them out here. All right, here. So I went through some of your roster and I've built 3 completely new teams for you. I like the teams that you have set here. They actually have a pretty good layout to them, and they cover a lot of the necessities for building Hydra teams. But I'll just give you guys, give you some extra ideas here on what you could do as well. So from the top is the hardest difficulty team that I think that will work well. Basically, you have Nut and Geomancer here doing most of the damage for highest difficulty. They do more damage against higher difficulty Hydra, so you definitely include those 2 here. Ideally, your Necmo and your Geomancer will be in Provoke gear, so they can help you with provoking the head of Decay. And then your Mithrala is going to be here for Hex, and then just for extra protection with the Cleanse and Big Shields. Ugo here for a little bit of extra protection as well. But basically, your team will be surviving off of the Leech, the Cleanse Shields. You have everything covered here. You have decrease. You have increase, decrease speed here, turn meter boost, leech, attack down, so your team will be taking less damage. Geomancer's passive also makes this team more tanky. We have a little bit of a cleanse, a little bit of the leech from the Ugo here, decrease defense and block buffs. Shamail for the torment counter. Shamail should be probably built with some damage. And then you have Mithrala here with the cleanse, attack up, defense up as well. So this is a pretty good team for the highest difficulty, so whether it be nightmare or brutal that you're tackling, I'm not too sure. For team 2 here, I think is the second best, highest difficulty team. We have Wixwell here for the provoke, shields, defense up. Put him in the lead. He also has the intercept buff, which is really good at helping against torment and other CC effects. Eostrid here for speed up, speed down, weaken. Really, really good. Pairs really well with Ugo here, who brings the decreased defense and block buffs. We have AoE, secondary decreased defense, and then HP burn. HP burn will power the Rathalos here, and then you have the second Shamail for torment as well. Build him with damage. You don't have a reviver on this team, but you do have Wixwell shield defense up as well to give you a little bit of extra protection. You have healing from Eostrid as well, and a little bit of healing from Ugo and a little bit of leech. But this team definitely feels a little bit more glassy, so a little bit lower difficulty than the first team. Lastly, we have this team here, which is basically like a beat down, low difficulty team. Duchess here in the lead to handle torment, give you attack up, and then you're basically going to be slamming the heads with 3 attack based damage dealers, which can deal pretty good damage. Wukong here with the block buffs and damage. Mashald here with speed up, leech, and additional damage as well. Holz Ring, definitely get this guy to 60. If you haven't seen my showcase on him, he is an absolute unit. He brings Hex. Decreased speed, he brings tons of damage as well, so build him out with some good nuking gear. He can do a lot of damage for you and apply debuffs as well. You have the speed up, decreased defense, and weaken and strengthen from Lydia. You have the decreased speed and provoke from the Visix here. She can deal a little bit of damage as well, but yeah, she gives this team a lot of extra buffs and debuffs as well with ally protection. So generally, I think this team is kind of like you just mashed up the best of the rest into your last team, and you're just going to be slamming the lower difficulty. In terms of what you want to do for gearing, you basically want Sheldon damage, Holz Ring and damage, Wukong and damage, and then obviously protection gear with the Lydia and the Duchess if you can swing it, and then Visix with the provoke gear. You could go hex gear on provoke on you could go hex gear on the Visix as well, or relentless gear so she can get some extra provokes. But you gotta make this team a little bit quick so she can get the provokes back quickly. That's kind of one thing. You don't really have too many good dedicated provokers on your account. Visix is one of the better ones, but she does have a 3-turn cooldown, so definitely help her out with a little bit of extra, maybe provoke gear on a champion would be nice. But you got 3 damage dealers here. You should be able to clear some pretty good damage pretty quickly with this team as well. So just some ideas here. I'm not saying they're definitively the best teams, considering I spent just a small amount of time going through your roster and all that, but a lot of it's going to come down to gearing. But I think these teams cover a lot for your account. So hopefully you enjoy these. Hopefully they give you some ideas. But let's move on. All right, let's hop over to his gear. Let's see what we can cleanse off here real quick. So we got about 100 spots left in his gear. Let's check out some of his new gear here. So basically, I did craft some perception for him because he had 1,000 pieces. I didn't want him to be capped out anymore. Let's quickly go over some of these pieces and then we can just get rid of them. So 5, I would get rid of, actually, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We are going to go right here, go into the bottom row pieces. We're going to look for flat HP, flat attack, flat defense, and we're just going to slam all these away. I guess he may be keeping this for something, but I'm just going to get rid of these pieces here. Yeah, they definitely don't need to be in your account anymore. This one he's probably keeping because it's a mythical. I guess it does have speed on it. You might need it for a build. Untouchable, I mean, this should go. Don't waste any more silver on this. This one, I'll keep it. Actually, this one should go too. Like, these pieces definitely don't belong in any of your builds. Like here, it's like you're just spending silver unless you plan on oring these. It's lethal gear, so I'll hold on to it for you. This one, I mean, because it's a mythical piece, you can roll maybe quad and it can be useful. This one's not anything, so just get rid of it. Killstroke, just get rid of it. These flat pieces you just get rid of, right? Merciless, I'm going to save these for you because you might, decide to ore them, and they're one of the best sets in the game, so you definitely don't want to do that. So this is just like the quick and easy, just get rid of this stuff. Going to save you the trouble there. After that, I would probably look at 5-star gear, 5-star rare gear, and then start going over these pieces. Anything without speed probably goes right away. So these two, you probably keep it, try to roll double speed, and then move on from them. This helm, same thing. This one, you got speed boot, you probably need it. Speed boot, need it. All right, so far it looks like he probably kept some pieces here. Like this piece for Savage gear, you definitely don't want. It's a 5-star rare piece with no damage stats. It does have a speed hit, but it's just, yeah, it's just something you don't really want. This one's double speed with crit damage, fine. Crit rate, fine. Defense, fine. What's this? Boot. Speed boot with no anything. Unless you're really dying for speed boots, it's gonna go, right? Like, I'm not gonna get rid of it for you, but yeah, you just gotta assess how many speed boots you need in that set. So if you're dying for it, then you keep it, but that one's pretty bad. Reflex here, you got speed's good. This one's decent, you got speed and speed boots. So you are, generally keeping the proper things. Like these ones, same idea, right? You got 3 4-star speed boots with no good substats. Up to you to get rid of them. This one, yeah, these ones look fine. Swift parry, I mean, you're not going to be using those pieces anytime soon. Same thing with these ones, but you are keeping the ones with speed. So this one, for example, this one probably I just crafted for you. You get rid of it. This one has accuracy, maybe you keep it. This one has accuracy, maybe you keep it. Maybe. I don't think you do, but maybe you do. So this one, this helm has no hope. This helm has speed, I guess. Some hope. Speed and accuracy, that's good. Accuracy. Damage stats, speed and damage. This one's no good. I'm not going to keep that. This one, okay, because it has the right substats for that. It is a 5-star blue piece, so you're not jumping for joy or anything. This one's no good. This one, attack. This one's attack with accuracy, speed boot. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to those ones for you just so you can get rid of, but they're not great pieces. Bloodthirst, like none of these, you don't really need those. Guardian with speed. Both of these pieces are fine for 5-star, I guess. Fine. This one's gonna go. Like, you don't even want, like, if you hit double speed here, it's like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, to be honest, right? Like, this one's fine. This one's probably gonna go, but it's okay. This one's same idea here. I'll let you get rid of it. Crit damage gloves, attack chest. Okay. This one's got speed, let you roll it. HP, fine. Resistance chest, fine. Speed. Yeah, it looks like you've been through the cleanser already, but these are kind of like the low-hanging fruits, right? But basically what you want to do when you're cleansing stuff, you definitely want to have correct stats for whatever set you're in. So for example, like for Savage, right, is damage gear. Like this glove is not going to make it. Like an HP percentage glove is not going to make it. Because you're not going to gear any HP nukers with HP percentage gloves. Okay, so that's kind of like the idea. You just want to make sure the stats match whatever set you're doing. So for example, resilience here, you got HP and plus defense. So the only reason you will use this set is to add extra EHP. You're probably not going to use it for extra damage. So any kind of damage stat definitely has lower value in this kind of gear set. So for example, like a lot of these pieces, like for example, the shield, right? This shield has damage. If it doesn't hit speed and it hits all damage, it's probably going to be an off piece. And for this account, an early account, off piece is fine. But having too many of them, it's not going to be very good. So for example, like this is a good piece. It has HP, defense, and speed. So this is a good piece. You can roll it up. But yeah, it looks like you did go through some of these pieces here, and it does look like they look like they're been managed. It's been managed. So I think you're okay in the gear cleansing department. It looks good, man. All right, let's quickly go over the Shogun Grove level 25 here and see what kind of team is available from the HH optimizer. All right, so I rebuilt a new Shogun team for you here. Actually, sorry, I didn't rebuild any gear, but this is probably the team that you want to be running. So you got 2 cleansers here, one at the front, one at the end. And basically the Mithrala here is going to be 281 speed. And then the Reliquary Tender, it will be 161 speed. So what happens is that the cleanses will happen after the debuffs occur, and then your 3 damage dealers in between those 2 speeds will be doing all the damage to the boss. So they basically will As long as you have some shade counter reduction from the blessings, which you do with the nut, for example, which is very good, you will be perfectly fine. You have the 2 cleansers there. They'll be covering a lot of the debuff removal for the Shogun boss. I did make a video on this, so if you're interested in finding more details out on this team, you have the pieces to do it. Make this team. It's about a 25-second farm for Shogun. Very, very simple. You have Reliquary Tender here. You got to make her 60. You do have to gear her out a little bit more specific, but she's only running 161 speed or so you can definitely build her out to work for this team. The rest of the damage dealers don't matter too much as long as their speeds land within the range of 161 and 281. Mithrala with 281 speed build will definitely work well in other content like PvE and stuff, so it's very good and advisable to go up to 281 speed if you can for her. But this is going to be the team to help you farm your Shogun's Grove. Lastly, I think we're going to end it off with building you a Fire Knight team that kind of makes more sense. So right now you have a Fire Knight team like this. You know, we're going to see if we can improve on it, right? We got a 5-minute clear time on Fire Knight 6. I think we can definitely help this out. So I'm going to get to work and we'll see what the results are. All right, so this kind of build on a team would probably work pretty well for Fire Knight Hard 6. You have Nekmothar here for increased speed, decreased speed, turn meter boost. You have the ally attack from the Ferrokin to Fat. I think it's probably his only ally attacker that I can find on his account. He's going to bring in 4 of your team, excluding himself, into the attack to break down the shields here. You got a Cold Heart here for the heal reduction and obviously multi-hit and damage from the Heartseeker, so she's a great candidate to bring in. I love Phantom Touch on these 2 champions already, so that's going to help bring down the shields even more. You have decreased speed, slow, and then the AoE decreased defense from the Stag Knight here. Also give him Phantom Touch when you change his blessing over. Having a backup decreased speed is not bad, because a lot of times if your decreased speed fails and if your gear is on the edge of this dungeon, then it's probably going to fail. So having a backup one is not bad. And then having Nut here is very good. Brimstone here is not going to be too helpful, so I would use Phantom Touch if you wanted to change here, unless you have a specific reason to use Brimstone. But I'm pretty sure this team would be able to do this this level without any issues. The problem would be the builds, so let's go and check out those for a second. All right, so obviously faster the better against the Fire Knight, so you get more cycles in to bring down shields more consistently, and then you don't have to rely so much on decreased speed. So we're just gonna look through some of his builds here in terms of speed. I think, for example, the Fire Knight Hard 6 is I think pretty slow. The Fire Knight Hard 10 is 250 speed. Fire Knight Hard 6 looks like it's only 150 speed. So if you're faster than that, you're doing pretty good. So you got Nekmo here with 221 speed. You also have the Nekmo Aura as well, good accuracy to land stuff, so that's perfectly fine. Ferrokin's not going to be able to land too much stuff with that accuracy, but his speed definitely needs to come up, maybe about 50 speed. Cold Heart here looks fine. You need her to kill the waves, so you need a little bit more crit damage perhaps just to land some more damage. Stag Knight here looks fine, and then Nut looks fine. So obviously the builds probably look fine as is. Just need to fix Ferrokin here. Maybe a 60 would help. Maybe War Master would help as well, just to obviously survive through the waves and all that stuff. But otherwise, this team definitely should do it. Just need a little bit extra review on the gear and gearing here from Doc. But I'm going to leave that for you in your AI settings, and hopefully you can improve upon this 5 minutes and 20 seconds here. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully we covered quite a bit for Doc here. Hopefully it was helpful to him. Hopefully some of the advice and the things that we said in this video were helpful. Honestly, the account looks great, level 90, lots of good things happening here. But for a mobile player, it's very difficult. I understand that. So definitely hats off to you for getting your account as far as you have. So all the best, man. Thank you so much for letting me hop on your account. Best of luck. Let me know what you think about everything. You guys as viewers, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your time as always. Let me know what you guys think about Doc's account. Let me know what you guys think about what I said about Doc's account and all that. If you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Would appreciate that very much. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.